everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at the new series by Kengo Hanazawa, Under Ninja. Kengo Hanazawa is probably most famous for his book I Am Hero. I will say right out the gate, because manga fans be even crazier than comic fans sometimes about like, you're not a real fan. No, I have not read I Am Hero yet. I would really like to, but by the time I got money to start splurging on comics again, that series was pretty much done, and so it was a big investment to go get all of the volumes all at once. So I'm aware of the project. It looks really awesome. I've always wanted to read it. I'll get to it one day, but I just haven't had the pleasure yet. And I know he's had a couple series, but I've not read any of them. So this is the first Kengo Hanazawa book that I've read, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's definitely got some of the flaws that I know people complain about in the artwork, and the things that some people like about the artwork, some people hate about the artwork from I Am Hero, which is the heavy use of photography and digitized photography. So like this city scene here has obviously been run through a lot of filters, and a lot of the backgrounds are obviously photographs that have been filtered in Photoshop and then changed into like halftone patterns and stuff. I've seen other artists like Inyo Sanyo do the same type of trick, and it looks a little bit less computerized. There's still that computer vibe to it, but this right here, where you're breaking the image down into like this posterized look here, is a little, for me, it looks nice, but it's a little too computery done. Other than that, I really, really like how the characters are drawn. I know there's like some photo reference involved, but obviously the characters can really move and act, and they're stylized and things like that. So it's not like he's just running filters on the photos of people throughout. So overall, I really like the sense of reality and immersion into the world that the use of the photographs allows. I just think, that there's someone like Inyo Sanyo has figured out how to make it look less digitized and more hand-drawn, and Kengo Hanazawa has just kind of leaned into the digitized look. So overall, I like it, but I think it could be a little bit more sophisticated in the backgrounds. But in general, I think it looks amazing, and really enjoyed the story. So the story here is that ninja have been around, still, it's like since the West invaded Japan, and especially since World War II, that the ninja have gone into hiding, but that they talk about it often, that there's over 200,000 ninja still in Japan, and they're all just living these kind of like quiet sleeper lives. They're still doing stuff behind the scenes, political assassinations, stuff like that. They're helping guide the world still, but very secret organization. So here you have a lot of these characters that are ninjas, but there's nothing for them to do. So this main character is one of these. He's called a kind of a lower tier ninja, and this is a middle tier ninja here that's coming to give him an assignment. I quite like the action and the acting throughout, like taking the idea of a ninja book where everyone kind of has not superpowers, but well-honed abilities, like here throwing these toothpicks at the ceiling, and then the toothpick's going to fall and hit the guy. And so he's going to grab it, and the guy's thinking he's going to get poked in the eye, and grabs his hand, and then the little toothpick lands on his hat there. I just think those action sequences are really well handled, and this is a good mix between that kind of like really intense action book and then just some silly stuff like this. There's a lot of silliness in this book that makes it really fun. So like this is one of those scenes that has some pretty intense potential consequences, but is also just lighthearted and humorous, and that's like the tone of the book throughout. This is another one here. So now this character has got this hoodie that he's been given that's like his ninja suit, and he's been sent on a mission to infiltrate a high school at first, and he's trying to get this character here, who's his neighbor, to call and pretend to be his mom to sign him up for high school. But she's in the bathroom and needs toilet paper and doesn't want him to look at her, so he puts his ninja skills to use to like crawl into the stall and then like make his way along the stall over to where the newspaper is on the windowsill without he's trying not to look at her. And so just that, again, that combination between like this kind of high stake action movie vibe with this really down to earth dark kind of embarrassing humor here, I think, is really, really well handled. And like obviously, again, the way he does the characters here has some photo reference to them, but there's so much action in here you could never just photo reference this. So this isn't an artist that relies entirely on photographs. This is someone who definitely has the cartooning chops to make something feel alive and realistic. And that's very, very cool to see. And then just a good writer, a funny writer. Like, again, here's another one. He shoots a dart with a fart, so it's like a oops, I darted type of moment. And you finally learn his name. You go for a while without learning his name, but you get his name is Kuro. And he's basically in this apartment where most of the series is just him interacting with his neighbors. This woman here, the guy next door that he goes and steals beer from. You know, there's a lot of down to earth within all the action that I think is very well handled in this book. And again, just makes me appreciate the kind of decompressed storytelling style that the manga authors can get away with because of their release schedule and all the assistants that they have and whatnot. It's really envious to be able to spread a story out and spend more time on something like a guy just talking with his neighbors. Here we have this white character. It looks like he's speaking Russian, but I got the sense that he's an American character. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is just how they were showing, you know, because we're reading English here, so they're just using these strange characters to show that to the Japanese it's nonsense, or if this is actually a Russian character coming in. But for some reason, I got the sense that he was like a American weeaboo, kind of just obsessed. He's obsessed with the ninja, and just showed up in Japan wanting to be a ninja, basically. And on this page, they give an acronym, which I've never heard, but Nimble, Invisible, Nocturnal, Japanese. The Ninja. I don't know what the A is. So I always just assumed ninja was like a Japanese word, but this makes me think that ninja was like a military acronym for Japanese fighters. If anyone knows that in the comments, I would love to know. But it seems like probably just a word that the Japanese used, and then later on someone acronymized it. But it would be curious to know if that actually came from a military acronym or not. Anyways, you have this character here, this maybe Russian, some kind of white character who shows up, and he's basically like a weeaboo who wants to be a ninja, and he just shows up and starts asking people like, where are the ninjas? And they're like, bro, no one knows where the ninjas are. And then he starts just like finding kanji characters on the street and thinking, oh, well, this is like secret ninja. I mean, he's a real dork. Running around with this like ninja sword umbrella on his back and like a COVID mask. And yeah, he's finding like these symbols and thinking they mean something. And he takes a picture of this. And I don't know in the original if this is in English or if this is in Japanese. I'm assuming it's in Japanese because he sends it to a friend who can translate it. And his friend basically tells him, yeah, I can read Japanese. And then I can't tell if his friend's messing with him or if, he just is doing a bad job translating. But he's like, yeah, those are definitely ninja messages. And then he tells them that instead of saying, warning, if you take a piss here, I'll cut your schlong off, he says, cut the schlong off any man who pisses on this wall. And then he said, so if you cut off 2 or 3 dicks, the ninjas will probably contact you. And like that's where I don't know if he's trying to give him real advice, but it seems like he's just messing with him. But then he's like a handler basically telling him, hey, if you could infiltrate the ninjas, that would be great. So this is like and then you see that this guy, while he's having the conversation, there's some really subtle, and I missed it. I had to go back once I saw what was going on, which is exactly right. But he's got a glove on, and you don't really see that. It just looks like he's talking on the phone, and he's got a baby with him. But then, and you don't really see his right hand until here, and then he bumps this character, and you can kind of skip over that. And when he bumps him, you see that he has a glove on. And then what made me go back is now here he's taking a glove off and then throwing it away. It's like, what the heck did that guy have a glove on for? And then you get the sense that this guy is also some kind of spy, and that both of these guys are in a spy organization. And that's where I'm thinking maybe he's not just playing a joke on his goofy friend, but he's actually is trying to get his friend to infiltrate. and that this advice to cut off 3 dicks to get is like legitimate advice. I don't know. That's just kind of the crazy type of story that's in this book. So anyways, you have this wannabe ninja that goes off now, and he's having to cut off dicks. He's going around and cutting off ninja dicks to try and get accepted into the ninja, I guess. Here you find out what the under ninja is. You have this mid-tier ninja character talking to this guy in a park, and this guy's milking his own nipples, which is strange. I don't know what that adds up to. But then he tells about the under ninja, which is like a even deeper, deep state ninja that's kind of controlling all the other ninja. And this is an awesome drawing here where all these leaves fall down and the character disappears. So when you get imagery like this, I don't really care that digital stuff's involved. It's just such a nice, compelling, impactful composition. And I guarantee that the majority of people that had the same tools as Kengo Hanazawa does would not produce the same type of images. And that's the same way I feel about Ennio Osanyo. You know, it's like, yeah, it is a little digital looking, but no one else is producing those kind of images. So I think this is just such a cool book to look at. Shinichi Sakamoto as well is someone that I think is using the digital really well. And then we get here, we've got some really, again, wild stuff. You've got this character who's urinating on the street here, the neighbor gal from earlier. She's just going pee by a car. And this is the wannabe ninja, like, is hiding underneath waiting to cut people's dicks off. And he's like, the pee is going down by his head, and then he's kind of just staring at her, basically trying to, like, wondering why she doesn't have a penis, because now he can't cut it off. And I also just really like, you know, it's the little end of the beginning of the chapter image here, where they always have the, like, chapter, the kind of the stamp of the series title. They've put it right over as a censor there and have it again there. And I think that's really funny. But it's such a strange interaction where this guy's just like staring at her while she pees and talking to her about, oh, you're a woman, you know, like, I need to cut off dicks. And like, it's just such a weird book, but it's compelling, it's funny, it's engaging to go along with. So anyways, then we cycle around back to the opening sequence. You get some really cool imagery here with this military guys invading and a sword and this guy getting his head cut off. You know, it's just this kind of imagery that makes this artist's work so great, and which makes me want to read I Am Hero and all of his other stuff. But basically our hero of the title has now also, he's got to infiltrate this high school, which hasn't been resolved, but he's also been sent on a 3-day mission to stop this character here from chopping off more dicks. And here there's some, he's also trying on a bra. I won't go into why. So that will just give you a sense of like the flavor of the book, what the art looks like, the tenor of the humor, the type of story it is. It's a strange mix of things. But it's a really kind of, to me, fresh and compelling mixture of all of these different like genres. So I do really enjoy what I've seen so far of Kengo Hanazawa's work. And yeah, I do need to go out of my way to get his other stuff. It's just a matter of, you know, when I'll be able to afford that with all the other books I'm interested in trying to get. So really enjoyed this one. This one I'll definitely be getting the rest of the volumes as it comes out. I may or may not do videos of them. With the manga, I think it's good to review the first one and then maybe cycle back around and I'll give a series overview once it's all finished and I kind of understand the scope of it. But maybe I'll go book by book. I don't know. Anyways, really enjoyed this. It's a weird, wild mix, but I think most people would enjoy it, so I'd recommend it for most people. If you don't want to read a book about, you know, that has like dicks getting chopped off and stuff, then maybe this isn't for you. I haven't actually seen that yet. They've just talked about it, so at least you don't have to look at it. But I found it to be an entertaining book. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel and you want to support us, there's 2 ways to do that. The first is through our Patreon. We have 2 different tiers of engagement there. The first one gets you early access to videos. Second one, you get exclusive access to previews of the books that Sean and I are working on. You can help vote take part in a webcomic experiment that we're doing where user feedback helps determine the story. Just a lot of kind of cool extras there at the higher tier for you. We really appreciate the support. That helps us buy the books that we review. So anything that we get through the Patreon, we just put back into the community. Other publishers, other artists just buy books to keep you with things to check out, think about buying. If you want to support us, you want to support Living the Line itself, the best thing to do is to support what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at one of those projects now. Centralia is an awesome, gorgeous comic by rising Dutch star Miel van de Peet. This is his first work. It's a really great sci-fi story. There's a world in the future where the sun has gotten so hot that people can't be on the ground. So they have to run around. There's a lot of conceits that go with that. You know, what is the world that looks like? And I think you can see by the art that Sean's description of this book as like a Moebius for young adults, a YA Moebius, is a really great description of this really gorgeous and like wild, wacky, fun book. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.